Hi, I'm Don, and this is the Hobbyist Geek. All right, today we're going to be doing stage 8 from issue 4, and we have our parts, we have our magazine, so let's get to it. All right, while building this particular stage, I realized that I had attached the oil sump backwards in the last issue, so please make sure to correct that before you begin this issue. All right, look at all of these parts. We have the right cylinder head, ignition wire junction, right cylinder head cover, the fuel pump cover, fuel pump bracket. We have the fuel filter cap, the ignition coil plug, ignition coil cap, a whole bunch of spark plugs, and a bunch of distributor cap plugs, and we have the vacuum advanced unit, another dipstick, the starter motor, drive pinion, the starter solenoid, and a coil wire. A lot of screws. This particular issue also comes with a pair of tweezers. These tweezers, they feel kind of cheap, but they're way better than the tweezers that were given with the DeLorean model, so hopefully these will work out well. Let's see what we can do to get this thing built. Okay, to start off, we're going to take the exhaust manifold from the previous issue. I'm going to fit it into the cylinder head here, and let's see here. Should be keyed, so it only goes in one way, just like so. And this is going to be assembled with 3 AP screws. All right, next up we're going to be taking the cylinder head cover. We're going to place it on there. There's little bits here to make sure that it lines up properly and stays in. Notice the Cadillac logo here, that should be facing upwards. And actually, before you put that in, you're going to want your ignition wire bit here set in place. It's not going to stay on its own. You need this to hold it in place. Just like that. And then we can attach this with 4 BP screws. Alright, look at that. Now this is completely plastic, and we're going to be assembling it with the right engine block from the previous issue. Let's see here. So it'll line up. It will line up just like so. And we're going to be using 2 AP screws to finish it off. All right. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm going to take the engine assembly from previous issues and the right engine block that we've just put together. I'm going to throw that thing in and line it up as best we can and attach that puppy. Now, these posts need to go onto these ends. So this is going to have to go inside the timing belt. See if we can't get this thing lined up somehow. Look at that. And we want to Now we're going to want to use 2 DM screws right in these holes here to make it permanent. Okay, for step 3, we're going to start assembling the fuel pump and the filter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the fuel pump here, and we're going to take the fuel pump bracket. We're going to put them together with an AP screw. Notice there is a little pin here. Go in the bottom hole here. Yeah, just like so. And 1 AP screw will put it in place. All right. Now we're going to take the fuel filter cap. Go. And we're going to plug that puppy in to the fuel filter. Fuel filter cap, fuel filter. Okay. Ah yes, this one is keyed as well. There we go, nice and lined up. Okay, this looks like it's going to go like so. Or is it the short one? Aha! Make sure the short side. It's kind of hard to see, but one of these is shorter than the other. The short side is going to go there. This will come in on top, and we put in the an FP screw. Look at that. Fairly straight line. Nice and tight. We're going to take the engine here, and we are going to throw this in. Let's see, how does it go? Looks like it's going to go like so. Yep, also keyed. So we'll get that in. And we're going to take the cover. And we're going to throw that puppy on top. And we're going to use a BP screw. Now we're going to build and affix the ignition coils. So we're going to take the ignition coil itself and the ignition coil cap, and we just plug that in to one end. It is not keyed, so it should just slide right in the end there. There we go. And then we're going to take the ignition coil plug, and we're going to put it right in the pinhole. I'm going to use the tweezers for this because this is a very, very, very small piece. And it's got to go, whoa. Right in the end. Just like that. I'm sure you could probably glue it if you wanted to. It is not necessary. It seems to be holding it in place fairly well. Now we're going to want to attach this. You can see it does have an alignment pin right there. And it's going to go into these holes here. just like that, and one BP screw to keep it in place. All right. Next up, we're going to be inserting the spark plugs and the distributor cap plugs. So this will be fun. Lots of small pieces here. The spark plugs are going to go on either side of the engine block into these holes here. And the way they are set, it's the short end that's going to go into those holes. Highly recommend using tweezers for this. This is going to be a very finicky thing. Okay, spark plugs are in. Be careful not to knock those too much. I mean, they're just very thin plastic, so they're not really going to hold up to pressure. Next up is the distributor cap ends. And pretty much the same deal, but all of them are going to go right in here. All right, so it looks like the long end actually is the part that sticks out, whereas the short end goes into the distributor cap. Okay, and that is about what the distributor cap should look like. I'm sure I can play with these ends a little bit to align them a little better. Not sure it's going to matter too much until we get the wires going in there. But for now, there you go. And we have another dipstick, and that is going to go right next to the distributor cap here. There. This is keyed, so it can only go in one way. There we go. I'm trying to use the tweezers to get it in there a little more. There we go. So we got that in there. And now, our cable. That's right. We've got the wire here, the coil wire. One end of this is going to go right into the distributor cap, and the other end is going to go right into the ignition. It looks like my cable's a little bit longer than it needs to be. I might snip that later. I don't like having this angle in it. It looks a little better. Looks a little better. But I may end up snipping this later, but for now that looks pretty good. Now we got to fit the starter. So we're going to take the starter motor and put this in the bell housing like this. Yeah, there it goes. Like that, and we're going to use one BM screw to get that in place. There we go. Now we can take the drive pinion. I'm going to throw that puppy in. The drive pinion, once it's in, can be secured with an AP screw. Now we take the solenoid and we're going to throw that in, and you'll notice there's the little peg here on the bottom of it, and that's going to go in the bottom hole right there. There's two holes. It's going to go in the bottom hole, and this will also be attached with a BP screw. Last but not least, we've got this vacuum assembly. That's going to go right on there on the distributor cap. A little elbow grease. Never hurt anybody. There we go. That is stage 8. What a stage that was. Holy crap. Hi, so that was stage 8 completed, and what a stage that was. Very finicky, a lot of very little parts. I hope you guys have an easier time of getting it done than I did, but our engine is definitely looking great. Looking forward to the next stage, and I hope you are too. If you liked the video, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.